What's going on, my Century Units? It's the Sentiment here, so back again with another classic WrestleMania pay-per-view review. So the last classic WrestleMania I reviewed on this channel was WrestleMania 4 in 1988. So this time, we're traveling 20 years into the future to the year of 2008 to review WrestleMania 24. So this show was at the Florida Citrus Bowl. Right now it's called the Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida. On the 30th of March 2008, the attendance of the show was 74,635. WrestleMania 24 received about, I am guessing, and I'm gonna butcher this buy rate. This is my attempt. 1,000,000 pay-per-view buys. You could say it's I don't know, it's a decline or an upgrade than WrestleMania 23. That was the previous year's WrestleMania in 2007 at Ford Field. That was the Donald Trump WrestleMania because of him and Finn's Battle of Billionaires. That's Bobby Lashley versus Umaga. Loser of Vince or Trump will get their hair shaved, and Vince was he got his head shaved. The main event of that show was John Cena versus Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship. Also, you had Batista versus The Undertaker, the World Title versus The Streak. And I think that was the first trio-branded WrestleMania because ECW revived in 2006. WrestleMania 23 received about 1,200,000 pay-per-view buys. The tagline is all grown up. And the tagline for WrestleMania 24 is the biggest WrestleMania under the sun. So it's funny, like 23 and 24, they hit the buy rate, the million buy rate mark, and then 25, the buy rate kind of dipped, in 25 and 26, in the next two WrestleManias, and then the next time a WrestleMania hit that 1 million buy rate mark will be WrestleMania 27 in 2011, that was hosted by The Rock, and the next three WrestleManias hit that 1 million mark, 27, 28, and 29, hit that 1 million mark. The last WrestleMania with that 1 million buy rate mark was WrestleMania 29. That was the twice of the lifetime match between John Cena and The Rock, and that was the last time. I think it was the last WrestleMania with the buy rate because this is before the dawning of the network, and we're in the post pay-per-view buy rate era of WWE. It's just what it is. So this show, WrestleMania 24, memorable for many things. Like before that, let's talk about the commentaries for the show. This is the second trio-branded WrestleMania. For Raw, we got JR and the King. For SmackDown, we got Michael Cole and the Coach. That's Jonathan Coachman. For ECW, we got Joey Styles and Taz. I think this was the final. I might be wrong about this. I think it's one of the last pay-per-views for Joey Styles and Taz as a commentator duo of ECW because they got replaced by, I think Joey Styles got replaced by Mike Annally. That's another story for another time. I think Styles, I don't think he left the company. He ended up working with the WWE website team, and then he left. I don't know what year he left the WWE. I think it's around the 2010s. So he stayed in the company about 2010ish, and then I think it's around probably around somewhere about the 2010ish. He left the company. So anyway, so this WrestleMania, like I said, is memorable for many things. One, this is the I think it's the third WrestleMania. I think it's the third WrestleMania outdoors. People say, WrestleMania 9 was the first outdoor WrestleMania. What about WrestleMania 3? That was you could tell it was taking place outside. Maybe 8 was outside. Anyway, so forget about that. It's and I think it was the second WrestleMania at a football stadium. The first one was WrestleMania 23. The first WrestleMania at a football stadium was WrestleMania 23 at Ford Field. So anyway, and also this is the first WrestleMania in the state of Florida. The next time they do a WrestleMania in Florida will be WrestleMania 28 in 2012. 4 years later, that's known for the once-of-the-lifetime match between John Cena and The Rock. It was in Miami, in The Rock's hometown. And the next time they do a WrestleMania in Orlando will be at WrestleMania 33 in 2017. at the Camping World Stadium, formerly known as the Citrus Bowl. And then recently WrestleMania did a WrestleMania in the state of Florida, was at Tampa in 2021. It was the delay WrestleMania at Tampa because they was originally supposed to do it in 2020. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, so they did the WrestleMania, at the Performance Center. WrestleMania 37, my apology, was a two-nighted WrestleMania. Anyway, this show is the two-nighted WrestleMania era. So, like I said, first WrestleMania in the state of Florida. This is the first WrestleMania in HD, and the final WrestleMania in the of the ruthless aggression era. My apologies, I'm stumbling. Yeah, the final WrestleMania in the ruthless aggression era, because months later WWE went PG. So this is known for Floyd Money Mayweather against the Big Show, and self-proclaimed swan song of Ric Flair's final match in WWE. I'll get to the swan song of Ric Flair's career when I review Ric Flair's match against Shawn Michaels later on in this review. So I think that's it. I think I covered most of it. Yeah, first WrestleMania in Florida, the first WrestleMania in HD, and the final WrestleMania of the Ruthless Aggression era, plus Mayweather's match against Big Show, and the final match of Ric Flair's career. Using air quotes. We'll get to those things later on in this review. So let's talk about the pre-show or self-proclaimed dark match. So the pre-show, we got an inter-promotional battle royal. Winner faced the ECW champion later on the show, and winner was Kane. You had like Deuce and Domino, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Stevie Richards. I don't believe he's still in WWE in the year 2008. He ended up going to TNA a year later. Elijah Burke, I think he left the company, ended up in TNA a year later as the Pope. The Miz, Shannon Moore, Jimmy Wanyang, Jesse, Trevor Murdoch, Festus, the future Luke Gallows, the Brian Kendrick, Lance Cade, Kofi Kingston, Cody Rhodes, Jerry Noble, Chuck Palumbo, The Great Khali, Hardcore Holly. You could say that was his last WrestleMania. Tommy Dreamer, Gene Snitsky, or just Snitsky at this moment in time, Mark Henry, and the participation but eliminated was Foul Venus. How the fuck is Foul Venus is wrestling in mid-2000s or late 2000s WWE? So yeah, like I said, Kane won this match. He would face the ECW champion later on the show. That is Chavo Guerrero. We'll get to that match later on in this review. So the first match to kick off WrestleMania. Before that, let's talk about the set about WrestleMania 24. It was good. It's a good decision to do this WrestleMania at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. I think that's home of Disney. I like the pay-per-view set. It was really good. The tower. I like what's it called? John Legend. Singing "America Beautiful." I think the show. I'll get to my final thoughts. Is a very underrated WrestleMania, but I really like the pay-per-view sets. Like some pay-per-view sets were not, I think, like in recent WrestleManias, not really stand out for me. They're not really truly stand out, like compared to old school WrestleManias, in the past, I like it, with the tower, it's in a stadium, it's in the state of Florida, they made it good. It was a good atmosphere. I wasn't there, I'm just describing the show. Anyway, so the first match to kick off WrestleMania 24. This is a Belfast Brawl match. We got Fit Finlay with Hornswoggle in his corner, taking on John Bradshaw Lightfield, aka JBL. This revolves around Hornswoggle because the previous year they did this storyline that Hornswoggle is Vince's illegitimate son. Stupid storyline. Hornswoggle, he was the little bastard, and then they kind of changed his name to Hornswoggle, and Hornswoggle started to become a bad magnet of WWE programming on WWE television, like becoming Vince's son, become the last original cruiserweight champion, before they brought it back in 2016. Stuff with, I think he had the stuff. I think it's stuff with the coach. With there was a Hornswoggle blew up the ring with the coach underneath the ring apron. the stuff with Carlito, and then in 2009 with DX, teaming up with DX, and then years later he ended up like becoming the Raw nominee GM, then Part 3MB. Yeah. For the rest of Hornswoggle's only run in the company, yeah, it's gonna be very bad, and it's set up bad television on WWE programming. Anyway, so the build up to this, JBL informed Vince that Hornswoggle is not Vince's son. Finley is Hornswoggle's son. So it's a way to trying to end this storyline because this storyline has no payoff. I don't want to get into it. It's a stupid payoff. Originally it was supposed to be Mr. Kennedy to reveal to be Vince's son. Unfortunately, he got suspended. I think he violated the witness policy. It was part of a steroid rig, using air quotes, So they decided to throw in Hornswoggle with no payoff. So the build up to this, you had JBL attacking Hornswoggle inside of the steel cage, handcuffing Finley, making Finley watch. He beats up his son, and that was it. So this match between JBL and Finley, on paper, makes sense because both guys used to be in brawling matches in their wrestling career. JBL, the former Bradshaw, part of the APA, had history with brawling, in barroom brawls when he was part of the APA with Farouk. Finley, yeah, he has some brawling in the past. He's the Belfast Brawler. That makes perfect sense. He also fought in the WCW Hardcore division in the dying days of WCW. So yeah, it makes sense. This match was good. Not an all-star classic. It's not gonna be like a 5-star in-ring classic, but I think it was a fun match. Even though this match doesn't feel like a WrestleMania-worthy match, but I think they made it most for what it is. They got good time. It's not like it was 20 minutes. No, the match lasted about 8 minutes. That's fine. That's fair timing. JBL shouting at Finley, "Get up, Finley, you fat Irish bastard." Anyway, so you got some trash cans and candlesticks. I think like they were teasing like Finley trying to hit JBL with the shillelagh. Unfortunately, he didn't use the shillelagh in this match. So, in the end, I think before that you had JBL attack Hornswoggle. In the end, I think Finley trying to hit JBL with the steel steps. JBL hit Finley in the leg with the candlestick. It made Finley fall onto the steel steps face first. I think it was face first. Sadly there's no blood in it. It's funny. Like months later, WWE end up like banning blood. Anyway, so in the end, JBL got the victory. Hit Finley with the clothesline from hell to win this match. And I think that's the end of this storyline with Hornswoggle. It was he's still on WWE program until he got released in 2014. But the whole illegitimate son storyline, it was kind of stupid, and it's just waste of WWE programming. 2007 was kind of like the worst year, the ruthless aggression era, and that's another story for another time. So JBL. It's really funny. That's JBL's second to last not pay-per-view match, but the second to last WrestleMania match, because the following year he had his final match as a wrestler, losing to Rey Mysterio as the IC champion, and then he left. I think he quit. He came back years later as a commentator. I think he appeared in a Rumble match. Then recently he was a manager of Baron Corbin, but that's another story for another time. I think they moved on from Corbin. So, JBL as a manager, I think on paper sounds good. I hope he appears, in the future as a manager. I know he was a dick. Recently in 2017, kicking out Mauro Ranallo. I don't want to talk about it. So, Finley's character, I think this is Finley's first pay-per-view match as a babyface. I think I might be wrong. Don't quote me. He came with because he was a heel since 2006 when he debuted. He was in the WWE years before this as a producer and a trainer, but as a character, he came entering his matches with the dark Irish music. I think in this match he came into this match with a happy-go-lucky Irish music. I think it's a time that Finley turned babyface, even though Finley was kind of phasing out. He's basically, I think Finlay and JBL, mostly with Finlay. I think Finlay was trying to wind his career down. Because I think he was in his late 40s, early 50s. He's just like, I think he's got no plans for him because the rest of the year, Finlay teaming up with Hornswoggle, and then Finlay, I think he left around 2009, 2010ish. He came back years later as a producer. That's another story of another time. So you can tell like two guys were kind of like phasing out their careers in WWE. It's just what it is. So anyway, but besides that, it was a fun Belfast brawl. Nothing special, but it was fun for what it is because both guys had history of brawling. So moving on to the next match. So the next match we got Money in the Bank 4. So the competitors in this Money in the Bank ladder match, we got CM Punk, Shelton Benjamin, the Gold Standard, Carlito, MVP, Mr. Kennedy, John Morrison, and Chris Jericho. I'll get into the original competitor and the original winner of this Money in the Bank ladder match later on. So this was Chris Jericho's first WrestleMania match. I forgot to mention this. JBL in the opener, it was JBL's first WrestleMania match for almost 2 years. His last WrestleMania match was at WrestleMania 22 in 2006. Because the previous year's WrestleMania, who was a commentator, on the SmackDown side, and he came out of the commentary booth to feud with Chris Jericho in late 07 and early 2008. Forgot to mention that. So anyway, so this was Chris Jericho's first WrestleMania since WrestleMania 21 in Los Angeles in 2005. He took a 2 years break from professional wrestling. It's funny, his last WrestleMania match was at the first Money in the Bank ladder match at Mania 21 in 2005. So wow. So because Jericho came back, the end of the previous year. Anyway, so Mr. Kennedy, who won the Money in the Bank ladder match the previous year at WrestleMania 23. So anyway, this is a trio branded WrestleMania. Not trio. I said not trio brand WrestleMania. It is a trio brand WrestleMania. This is a trio branded Money in the Bank ladder match because you got two guys. I think it's six competitors. You got two guys represent Raw, two guys represent SmackDown, and two guys represent ECW. I think Morrison and CM Punk represent ECW. I'm guessing Shelton Benjamin and MVP represent SmackDown, and Chris Jericho and Carlito represent Raw. Morrison is one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions with The Miz. Chris Jericho is the Intercontinental Champion into this Money in the Bank ladder match, and MVP is the United States Champion going into this Money in the Bank ladder match. Match was good. I really enjoyed this match. It was a fun Money in the Bank ladder match. It's a shame we're not going to see Money in the Bank at WrestleMania ever again. They might bring it back in the near future because at this moment in time, I think the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is starting to become an annual event anyway. Besides that, it was a good match. It was a really good match, fun match to watch. One more of the match, you had John Morrison. This is technically his first WrestleMania as John Morrison because he's formerly known as Johnny Nitro when he debuted in the company. Anyway, Morrison. I think Morrison hit the Starship Pain or the Moonsault. Morrison hit the Starship Pain or the Moonsault onto the other competitors while holding the ladder. That was cool to see. You had Shelton Benjamin did like a sunset flower. I'm trying to get my words up. Sunset flip powerbomb onto both Morrison. I think it was Morrison and Carlito. That was really cool to see. Oh no, it's Carlito and Kennedy. My apologies. It's been a long time. It took me 2 days to review this WrestleMania, so my memory is a bit inconsistency. Anyway, so yeah, it was really good to see this match. I wasn't there, but it was really good ladder match. Very underrated in my opinion. So anyway, I think Carlito hit Chris Jericho with the backstabber off the ladder. That was cool to see. Some doing their finisher off the ladder. That's good to see. You don't see that. I don't think you see that in today's Money in the Bank ladder matches or right now. I wish they go back to basics. Um, Shelton Benjamin was about to climb the ladder, grab the briefcase, and I think it was Carlito and Kennedy kind of push Shelton Benjamin off the ladder and crashed into another ladder between the barricade and the ring apron. Not on the same level as Jeff Hardy did that swanton bomb off the toys ladder into I think it was Edge on that ladder between the barricade and the ring apron at the previous year's Money in the Bank ladder match. So anyway, so Jericho hit the cold breaker on CM Punk. Before that, you had MVP is about to trying to win this Money in the Bank ladder match, but instead we got the return of Matt Hardy. He got injured by the hands of MVP. It was a tag team title match in November of 2007. Miz and Morrison defending the belts against Matt Hardy and MVP. I've heard they were the tag team champions or dropped the belts to Miz and Morrison. It's one or the other. Morrison made Matt Hardy tap out. I think it was a knee bar. And then afterwards, MVP attacked Matt Hardy, injured his knee, put him on the shelf. It's a way to rid off Matt Hardy because I think he suffered a burst appendix. So he came back, he attacked MVP, hit MVP with the twist of fate off the ladder, and chased him. I think he chased him away, or I think he attacked him. Or it's basically a sneak attack. So this is set up Matt Hardy versus MVP for the United States title at the following month's pay-per-view Backlash that Matt Hardy wins. So that was set up one match at Backlash. There was some matches at WrestleMania set up the following month's matches at Backlash anyway. So the final two fighting this Money in the Bank ladder match are CM Punk and Chris Jericho. They end up feuding 4 years later for the WWE Championship. And sadly, they were in AEW, but at this time, Punk is suspended. We don't know is he coming back. Anyway, so I think Jericho hit Punk with the Code Breaker. I think at this moment in time, Jericho had his new finisher, his new wrestling move called the Code Breaker. Before that, it's just I think it was the Lion Moonsault, the Walls of Jericho, and you could say in a certain degree the Lion Tamer. And then he added the Cold Breaker as his new finisher, and then years later he ended up hitting his opponents with the Judas Effect in AEW. I think he hit the finisher in New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's another story for another time. Anyway, so in the end, Punk I think one more in the match, Jericho locked one of his opponents. I think he locked one of his opponents with the Walls of Jericho, reverse Walls of Jericho onto the ladder. I think it's a callback to the Jericho Benoit ladders match for the IC title at the Royal Rumble in 2001. Even though at the time at this moment in time they kind of erased Benoit from the history books. Anyway, so it's a good callback to that, I think. So in the end, Punk trapped Jericho's legs. I think it was in the middle part of the ladder. So he climbed the ladder, grabbed the briefcase, and CM Punk is Mr. Money in the Bank 2008. So CM Punk is not the original idea. I think he's not the original competitor in this ladder match. Originally, it was supposed to be Jeff Hardy in this Money in the Bank ladder match. He was supposed to be competing in this ladder match and also winning the Money in the Bank ladder match, winning the briefcase, become Mr. Money in the Bank. Unfortunately, Jeff Hardy fucked himself over. He got suspended because he violated the witness policy. So he got suspended. So the idea was throw in the bin. It was in the bin. Don't worry for Jeff Hardy. He became world champion at the end of the year. So CM Punk, is the 2008 Money in the Bank briefcase holder. So yeah, in hindsight, I think they picked the wrong person. I think at the time they were going for a young talent, but it's really sad for Chris Jericho, man. But we'll get to that shortly. So Punk hold the briefcase for 2 more months. Then he cashed in his briefcase on Edge. I think it was the Raw after Night of Champions, after his match against Batista attack Edge. Then CM Punk cashing his Money in the Bank briefcase on Edge, hit Edge with the GTS, pins him and becomes the World Heavyweight Champion for the first time in his career, holding that big gold belt. Unfortunately, looking at hindsight, I think his reign was a mediocre flop. And then, at Unforgiven in September of that year, he was supposed to be competing in the Raw Championship Scramble match, but instead he got attacked by Randy Orton, and Orton punched him in the skull. He never unable to compete and defend his world title in that Scramble match, so Chris Jericho won that Scramble match, filling in for CM Punk. And yeah, it's very shame that Punk, never got his chance to, compete in that Scumble match. And what's the original plan? Is he going to retain it or losing it? Don't know. I think at the time Punk was not the CM Punk from later years. This is in the pre-pipe bomb era. CM Punk, he was more of a cookie cutter, babyface, not getting really over at this moment in time. And it's really funny that the following year's WrestleMania, at WrestleMania 25, he went on to win the Money in the Bank ladder match again. I think to this day, CM Punk is the only guy to win back-to-back Money in the Bank ladder matches. And I think the second time he won the briefcase and did the cash-in was good because it led up to his heel turn, feuding with Jeff Hardy, and he brags about being straight edge. I think that was going in the right direction of CM Punk's character in 2009, compared when he won the briefcase in 2008. It's a shame for Jericho. I think Jericho should have won it because Jericho is the creator of the Money in the Bank ladder match. Like I said, the first Money in the Bank was in 2005 at WrestleMania 21. Jericho appeared in, I think it was 6 Money in the Bank ladder matches. WrestleMania 21, WrestleMania 24. I think he competed in the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match at the first Money in the Bank pay-per-view in 2010. Then he competed again in 2012 in also a Raw Money in the Bank ladder match. And then he competed, I think it was the 5th time. And also I forgot 24, so it is 6. And then the last time he competed in a Money in the Bank ladder match was in 2016. So yeah, I say 6. He competed in 6 Money in the Bank ladder matches and not won a single one. It's a shame. I don't think if he comes back to WWE, I don't think he's gonna win it again because at this moment in time, he was, because Jericho haven't got long left in his career. He's about 52, going to be 53. I think his time was over. I think the best thing he should have, if he won it if he didn't took out break in 2017, maybe Jericho should have won it and win the briefcase. But Jericho is the only person I know. He's got to be one of the unluckiest wrestler. He's the only wrestler to never win Money in the Bank and the Rumble. It's a damn shame. So anyway, besides that, it was a good Money in the Bank ladder match. It's just it's fun to watch. It's very underrated. That's another topic for another time. One day I might do a ranking Money in the Bank ladder matches, the best and worst. That'll be in the foreseeable future, but besides that, I like it, man. It's a fun Money in the Bank ladder match to watch. Sorry, I'm speaking too fast. So let's move on to the next match. So this match is a bit of a break from the other 2 matches, the Belfast Brawl match and the Money in the Bank ladder match. So the next match, this is a battle of brand superiority. So we got Batista represent SmackDown, and Umaga represent Raw. Regal called Umanga. Because at the time you had Regal was the Raw GM. Theodore Long was there at ringside, but he was not really the the SmackDown GM. He was the assistant SmackDown GM. At the time, the SmackDown GM was Vicky Guerrero. I'll get to more about Vicky later on. The match was not terrible. It was okay. It's not going to be built as a 4-star instant classic, or 6-star instant classic, but it was an okay match. This brand superiority, using air quotes, has no business because it's just it's not leading up to winner gets a draft point or move up, winner go swapping brands. That was just I think at the time they were promoting. What are they promoting? Because at the time, this is don't know what year they did. I think because the SmackDown versus Raw game was at the end of the year, so I don't know I don't know why they did this brand superiority match. I don't know. This inter-promotion match could be hit or miss. Anyway, nothing much to talk about. It's not terrible. It's not a board fest. It was 7 minutes long. They keep it short and simple. um it's a waste of Batista. I'll get to that shortly. So in the end, Batista hit Umaga with a crappy looking Batista bomb. He almost fell out of the ring, Batista, because Batista was about 300 plus pounds. I think it was about 310. And Umaga's 350, man. Holy shit. He kind of like hit Umaga with a crappy looking Batista bomb. I'm not no. It's very rare to see Batista botch. It's very rare to see Batista actually botching in a match. He almost botched a Batista bomb while trying to fall outside the ring. Anyway, so he managed to hit the move onto Umaga to win this match. So yeah, wasted Batista in this WrestleMania because like Batista in his WrestleMania career, he ended up having like being in these high profile WrestleMania matches, 18. You can call it a high profile WrestleMania match. He was in that 2 out of 3 handicap match, Evolution taking on Rock and Sock Connection. That's The Rock and Mick Foley. Then in 21, he main event WrestleMania 21 with Triple H, winning his first World Championship in his career. He missed 22 due to an injury. And the previous year's WrestleMania in 2007 at WrestleMania 23, he fought against The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now he's facing Umaga at Mania 24. And he missed 25 due to a hamstring injury. Then 26, he fought against Cena for the WWE Championship, and then took a bit of a hiatus. He's pursuing an acting career. Then 30, triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Then his last WrestleMania match was at WrestleMania 35 in 2019, Triple H. That was Batista's last match before he retired and just continue with his acting career. So, yeah, they kind of waste Batista. I think they told Batista there was no big plans for him. Because they were like maybe they were going for like another triple threat match between Edge and The Undertaker. Maybe they're just going to focus on a singles match between Edge and The Undertaker. We'll get to that later on, but I think they just tell Dave there was no big plans for him. I wish they put Batista in the Money in the Bank ladder match, give him another like a big high profile match, but instead, I think it's just a waste of the Batista of a WrestleMania match, Like, I think his best WrestleMania match for Batista was against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 23. His worst, I have to say, probably Triple H, WrestleMania 21. I put it the second worst, because it's just Umaga. Because at the time, Batista was you could tell Batista was stale as a babyface. He turned heel the following year. That's another story, another time. Umaga, I think the rose kind of fell off, the bloom fell off the rose of Umaga, man. He was kind of like an afterthought, I think, it's a damn shame for Umaga, man. It's like, what might it be, I don't want to get into it, so it's basically trying to, they're just kind of there, trying to fit everyone on the card, so let's move on, man. I'm rambling, but I'm trying to get my points across. So the next match, this is technically a worst match of the night, and this is the shortest match of the night. I'm using air quotes. This is the one and only time that the ECW Championship is defended at a WrestleMania. Chavo Guerrero defending the belt against the Big Red Monster Kane. Like I said earlier, Kane won a Battle Royal had the chance to face the ECW Champion later on the show. Chavo Guerrero won the title against CM Punk. I think it was CM Punk at the start of 2008. And this is the start of, because Chavo Guerrero was part of this faction on SmackDown called La Familia. Who's in La Familia? So, in that group, we got, the World Heavyweight Champion Edge. At the time, he was dating Vicky Guerrero, the SmackDown GM, and they ended up getting married in kayfabe later on in the year. The ECW Champion Chavo Guerrero, and the Edgeheads, that is Zack Ryder, that's Matt Cardona, and Kurt Hawkins. And that's Brian Majors. I think it's Brian Majors. That's actually Kurt Hawkins' real life name. I might be wrong about this. I don't know. So yeah, Chavo Guerrero won the ECW title on it was on the 22nd of January's episode of ECW. It was a no DQ match. Because Chavo was on SmackDown, Punk on ECW. The ECW title and the division was dead after December to Dismember, and the title was dead when Vince McMahon won the belt at Backlash the previous year. The match lasted about 11 seconds. Kane music hit, the lights went red. Kane showed out of nowhere, hit Chavo Guerrero with the chokeslam, pins him, and become the ECW champion for the first time. First and only time that Kane hold an ECW title belt. And he didn't do nothing with the belt. He ended up dropping the ECW Championship at Night of Champions in June in a triple threat match between Kane, Mark Henry, and The Big Show. And then I think after this, Chavo Guerrero added Ban Nilly to La Familia. Why they bring Ban Nilly to the group beats me. I think they had the rematch at Backlash the following month. Yeah, Bam Nilly. Worst name, didn't bring nothing to the table. I think after that, La Familia was over after 2008. Anyway, so the ECW title was dead. It was DEAD. They should have ended ECW, WWE sooner than 2008. The only person really revived the belt and the division was Christian. That's a different story for another time. It's true. Different story for another time. I don't want to talk about, it's too long. I try to keep my reviews about 30, 40 minutes long. I'm 35 minutes long. This is going to be an hour long review. For the third time anyway. But besides that, the title was dead. People say this is the worst WrestleMania match of all time, or one of the worst matches of WrestleMania of all time. Is it? Hard to say. There's been many worse WrestleMania matches over the years, before and after 2008, so it's hard to debate about it. So, yeah, people react to Kane winning the belt. It was his first world title for almost a decade. His last world title was in 1998 against Stone Cold Steve Austin in a first blood match for the WWE title at King of the Ring of 1998. I will review that show in really this summer, because this summer marks the 25th anniversary of that show. So, I think the next WrestleMania, the next shortest WrestleMania squash for the title was the following year's WrestleMania in 2009 in Texas was JBL versus Rey Mysterio. Yeah, Rey Mysterio defeat JBL for the IC title in 22 seconds. And the next time they did a squash match for the championship was at WrestleMania 28, 4 years later in Miami, when Sheamus squashed Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds, my apologies, to win the World Heavyweight title. And they've never done a squash match ever since in record second of time. Sorry, I'm trying to get my words out. And then I think the King Kong Bundy match from 1985 at the first WrestleMania was still the shortest. Was it 2, 3, 4 seconds? Don't know. It's been a long time since I reviewed that show. So let's move on to the next match. So the next match, you could tell, is a breath of fresh air. And you could say it's one of the best. You could say it's debatable if it's match of the night. So, anyway, this is you got Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, taking on the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels in a career-threatening match. If Ric Flair loses this match, he will force to retire from in-ring competition. So, I think Ric Flair is the first wrestler to get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame one night and wrestled at WrestleMania the following night. So the next time was Ricky Steamboat at the next year's WrestleMania against Chris Jericho in I think it was a 3-on-1 handicap match. Anyway, so I think Triple H inducted Ric Flair, his idol and fellow Evolution member, into the WWE Hall of Fame the previous night. So the package of Ric Flair leading up to this match was good. They showed this video. Shawn announced that Ric Flair is going into the Hall of Fame, and they show his archives of his his matches in in WCW and then WWE. They played this good song called I think it's called "Leave My Memories Alone" or "In My Memories" by Flu. That was really good. Go and check it out. Just type it, Flu, In My Memories. That is a really good song, that. And then I think Ric Flair said I love this business, I will never retire. Then I think it was on the Raw of 2007, Vince informed Ric Flair that if he loses one more match, his career is over. I think for months, Ric Flair's completing career threat matches to stay as a professional wrestler, leading up to his match against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. So he wants Shawn to face him in that career threatening match at WrestleMania 24. So the build up to this, Shawn went personal Like on the Go Home Raw, he said to Ric Flair, he called him Old Yeller. Old Yeller is like a yellow golden Labrador, I think. And Flair snapped at Shawn, slapped him, Old Yeller. Because he wants to take him out of his mystery. Because I think it was a film of a boy shot a dog out of a woodshed. You know, I never seen that film. I don't want to watch that film. I think the ending could be sadder than Joe. What's his name? Joe Coffey in The Green Mile. I want to review that movie in the future. But anyway, so this is a really good match between Flair and Shawn Michaels. I think it's got to be in the top 20 best WrestleManias of all time. I don't know, is it a mid-card? I think it's probably a mid-table WrestleMania match, or probably in the top 10. It's very hard to debate. Really good match. I think like Shawn kind of keep up. I think Flair kept up of Shawn Michaels' level because Ric Flair's, you could say, he's past his prime. He was in his he's soon to be 60. He's 59, soon to be 60. Shawn's in his early 40s. I think Ric Flair kind of kept up of Shawn Michaels' level, his speed. Really like this match. There's one spot, like one moment of the match, Shawn was going for like a springboard moonsault off the ropes, trying to put Flair into the announce table, but Flair got out of the way. Shawn crashed into the announce table. Then he hit I think he hit Shawn Michaels with another with another moonsault off the top rope and onto the ringside area. On the other side of the ring, he hit it on Flair. So anyway, I think like it was a spot when Flair got out of the way, and then Shawn managed to hit Flair with that moonsault off the top rope. And also Flair shouted "Oh Yeller." Like I say, if you don't know what is "Oh Yeller," I think it was a dog got shot to death. I think it was based on a book. "Oh Yeller" is I think it is a Labrador. Or a retriever. So anyway, Flair locked Shawn Michaels with the figure four leg lock. And then Michaels then trapped Flair in his version of the figure four leg lock. I think it's the first time he locked someone with that figure four leg lock since the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith at One Night Only in 1997. Anyway, deliver a four thumb to the eye. It was really good. Flair with the chops to the chest. He hit I think Flair kicked. I think he kicked out of. I think he kicked out of two switching musics. Super kick by Shawn Michaels. That's Flair. It was a really good match. I can't really say it's in the top 5. I say probably in top 10 or top 20. There's been better matches before and after this. Anyway, it was really good. I wasn't really bored about this. It's really intriguing. Flair. This has got to be Ric Flair's best match in his second run in the company. Like his best WrestleMania match since The Undertaker in WrestleMania 18 in 2002. Like Flair in his second run in WWE, he never had like a really great match. He had some decent matches. You can have some forgettable matches, but it's very hard to have a Ric Flair match in his second run in the company. Like stands out. I think this stands out. I think it is his best WrestleMania match, like performance since his match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 18 in 2002. So anyway, he kicked out of not one but two switching musics. Then he attempts to do the third switching music. Flair, raising his hands, putting up his dukes. You can tell by the emotional Ric Flair's eyes. He doesn't want to do this, and Shawn, this is really dramatic, Shawn, Shawn said, "I'm sorry, I love you," and hit Ric Flair with a third switching music to pin him and end Ric Flair's 35-year-old wrestling career. Going on 36 because Ric Flair wrestled in his first year he started as a professional wrestler was 1972. So basically 35 going on 36 years. So afterwards, he grabbed Ric Flair by the hair, not in a bad way. He said like, "I'm sorry," he doesn't want to do this, so he left the ring. Flair he basically climbed up. He completely got up. He got like a standing really a good reaction, like an ovation. Sorry, that's the word, ovation. He go towards his family. His family, with his wife. You had Ashley. That's Charlotte Flair. I think Flair's the reason why Charlotte Flair's in the company. I'm really like or hate on Charlotte Flair. I think she had a good career in WWE so far with Charlotte Flair. Even though I think her push was so forced because of the Flair name. I don't want to talk about in this video, but anyway, I think she's a bit successful in WWE to this day. I don't want that's my brief talk about Charlotte Flair or Ashley. You had David Flair. Unfortunately, he didn't have a great career in professional wrestling. In WC, I think people talk about his career in WCW, but he didn't wrestle in the WWE because I think the only most notable moment he was in WWE was he got beaten up by the Undertaker at leading up to Taker's match with Ric Flair at WrestleMania 18. And then you've got Ric Flair's other son Reed, who sadly passed away. I think it was 4 or 5 years later after his dad's final match with the WWE. So it's really a shame what might have been Reed Flair's career. I think he committed suicide. Reed Flair's a shame, man. Even though Charlotte became, you could tell he was, was the heir of Ric Flair's throne, carried the legacy. David did not live up the hype. Don't know about Reed. But yeah, anyway, so he got a standing ovation, a good reaction. Thank you, Flair. He kind of it was dramatic and emotional. It's a good way to have Ric Flair. It was basically a swan song for Ric Flair. Got overstand ovation. Flair and Shawn, one of the best wrestlers of all time. Have a really good WrestleMania match without any interference. It was very emotional and romantic. That's what I put my words on it. So anyway, but yeah, that was technically Ric Flair's final match as a professional wrestler. I used the air quotes, but I wish Ric Flair respect this retirement match thing because it's a shame. I wish they main event this match. We'll get to more of that later on when I talk about the main event. Anyway, so it's leading up to the Raw after Mania 24. The farewell Ric Flair Raw when Taker and Flair hug it out. It's very debatable if Shawn is the right opponent to end Ric Flair's career. Maybe Triple H, because Triple H also idolized Ric Flair, but it's debatable. But anyway, I wish Flair honored this match stipulation pretty damn well because he should never came to TNA in my opinion because that was the part when TNA lost his identity, focus too much of the old guys instead of the young homegrown talents. Making AJ Styles as the new Nature Boy, Fortune faction. It's just I think Flair was there. I think he was there for the for a paycheck. I wish he's just. I understand why. I think over the years Flair had some financial problems. Maybe he needed the money, but I think him going to TNA was a bad call. I wish same as Shawn. I think I wish just pay the respect of the retirement match. If it's leading up to a match down the road, that'd be okay. But just retire honor the retirement stipulation, man. I think the retirement stipulation in professional wrestling was a bit it's meaningless because, for example, Shawn did this thing, 2 years later after his final match against The Undertaker, WrestleMania 26, 2 years later. He retired. He come out of retirement 8 years later in that match against The Undertaker. DX, Brothers of Destruction in Saudi Arabia. It's just a load of shit, man. Do a retirement match and don't really honor the stipulation. So it's just seeing Flair did his final match, self-proclaim his final match in his career, and then come out of retirement 2 years later, and then he had a horrifying match against Jet Jarrett last year at StarCast. Just honor, it's just basically Flair. I understand it's money, I understand, he needs the money, but just it's just throwing away this good moment at WrestleMania. Flair's swan song into the sunset. It's just. It's funny that Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels end up becoming a two-time WWE Hall of Famers. Shawn gets inducted in 2011, then they're both inducted again into factions. The original Four Horsemen got inducted in 2012, DX got inducted in 2019. So, yeah, I think it was a good match. Match of the night, I think it's debatable. So that's my 2 cents on it, man. I try to get my points across. So yeah, go and check it out. It is a really good match between Flair and Shawn Michaels. So moving on to, you could say it's a crap match then, the ECW title match. This is a Divas tag team Playboy Lumberjack Playboy, but is a Playboy Bunny Mania Lumberjack match. So it's a tag team match format. So we got Beth Phoenix and Melina with Santino Marella in the corner of Beth Phoenix and Melina taking on Maria Kanellis. That's her name. They just call her Maria, not Maria Kanellis. I think she be called. She used her surname when she came back to the company in about 2017ish. Yeah, she's teaming up with Ashley Massaro. Shit, it's a shame for Ashley Massaro died. She died. This year marks the 4-year anniversary of her death. She died in May of 2019 at the age of 39. She was nearly 40, 10 days before her 40th birthday. I don't want to talk about Ashley's death. You know, that's another. Like I said, another story for another time. Don't want to talk about in this review. So this revolves about Snoop Dogg. You know, he's the what's it called? The master of ceremonies. That's a really there's a lot of celebrities in this WrestleMania. Or a few. We'll get to that later on. There's one I'm going to talk about later on when I get to the Mayweather match. So Snoop Dogg is the reason why Sasha Banks in the Hall of Fame. Anyway, so Santino and Maria used to be boyfriend and girlfriend in kayfabe. All of a sudden, Santino Marella is now dating Beth. I'm guessing cheating with Beth. And this is the start of Santino Marella and Beth, you know, as Glamorella. Underrated, couple at the time. Yeah, Santino and Beth, Glamorella. So, I think this is the last time that they do a match revolve around Playboy, because months later, WWE went PG. You know, doing Playboy is a bit no-no. Oh, I hope AEW do a Playboy match. Because at the time, AEW, you can say it's edgy, and WWE's PC. You know, I think AEW is a bit PC. Anyway, so nothing much to talk about this match. And also, this is a lumberjill match. It's not an ordinary tag team match. So the competitors in this actually not competitors, but like who's the lumberjills? We got Eve Torres, she is the winner of the 2008 or the 2007 Diva Search. I think she was the last winner of the Diva Search. You know, so making her, you could say, her pay-per-view appearance. Cherry's one half, or she is the valet of Deuce and Domino. Jillian Hall, Maurice, the future wife of The Miz, her pay-per-view appearance, pay-per-view debut. You know, it's the same thing. Pay-per-view appearance, debut. Katie Lee Burchill, the kayfabe sister of Pirate Paul Burchill, or just Paul Burchill, and the future Winter in TNA. Layla, Michelle McCool. This is years before they end up doing Lay Cool. Mickey James and Victoria, that they are the Lumberjills. Nothing much to talk about this match. It was just it sucked, you know. The women in this match cannot wrestle for shit. Marlena, she's not quite the ring general yet. Maria she's not a good worker. I don't know if she improved outside of WWE. I don't want to talk about that. Actually, she cannot wrestle for shit, man. I think she looks like Angelina Love. I'm not doing it in a disrespectful way, but they just, you know, it's like trying to get everyone on the card. At least this is the only women match on the show. I'm guessing Beth was the women's champion. Anyway, so one more of the match, Maria hit Beth with I think it was a bulldog off the top rope. And also before that, the lights gone off. I think JR and the King did like a Undertaker joke. The Undertaker has arrived, or some shit like that. Anyway, so like I said, Maria hit the bulldog onto Beth Phoenix. Santino placed Beth's foot on the ropes. And then, for whatever reason, Jerry the King Lawler came out of the ring and Dex Santino. I don't think that leading up to a Jerry the King Lawler Santino Marella match, you know, because at the time Santino was a asshole heel before he becoming a comedy act, you know, doing the stuff with the Cobra. and some comedy stuff with dressing up like in a bowler hat, any crazy shit, comedy shit, I don't want to get into about Santino Marella. I don't mind Santino Marella, you know, like some people just don't like him, Yeah, maybe it's the comedy stuff, but anyway, so Lawler Dex, came out of his commentary booth at Dex Santino Marella. In the end, Beth Phoenix hit Maria with a fisherman suplex for the win. Then afterwards, Snoop Dogg, hit I think he hit Santino Marella with a clothesline. And then Snoop Dogg kissed Maria Kanellis, and that was it. Yeah, giving Snoop Dogg a WrestleMania moment, and then years later he gets inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and that's the reason why Sasha Banks got signed with the company, because she is Snoop Dogg's niece. And right now Sasha Banks is now Mercedes Moné in New Japan Pro Wrestling. You could tell like both. It's really funny that you're seeing Charlotte, before she became a wrestler, and the reason why Charlotte and Sasha went on to have good careers in WWE, even though Sasha Banks' run in WWE was a bit of a mixed bag, but you could tell like they're planting the seed. You tell they're planting the seeds of them having good careers in the company, even though Sasha's like her final year in the company was sour. I don't think she's coming back to WWE, but I think she end up going. I think she's likely going back to AEW, man. If you want to talk about it, if you want, I did a video on this whole Mercedes Moné months ago. Go and check it out. So let's move on to the next match of the night. So this is a triple threat match for the WWE Championship. Randy Orton defending the belt against Triple H and John Cena. There's a revolt about Cena and Triple H getting injured the previous year in 2007. Even though Cena and Orton feuded with, Cena and Triple H feuded with Randy Orton in 2007. Like Orton fought with Triple H in the start of the year and the end of the year. The start of the year you had DX versus Rated RKO for the World Tag Team titles at New Year's Resolution, the final New Year's Resolution in WWE history. Triple H torn his quad on that match of that show, and then he missed WrestleMania 23 due to a quad injury. Then he came back in the summer. He fought against Orton at No Mercy for the WWE Championship, beat him in the opener at No Mercy of that show. Then Orton regained the belt back from Triple H at the end of the night. Because it was supposed to be John Cena, but John Cena got hurt. Cena injured his pec while he was the WWE champion. Cena had the best 2007. Like I think Cena was the wrestler of the year of 2007 in WWE. He had a good year. His reign was underrated in my opinion. Put on some good matches against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23, Umaga at the Rumble and New Year's Resolution, Bobby Lashley at the Great American Bash, Orton at SummerSlam, could be in that the Fatal 4-Way at Backlash '07, the Six-Pack Challenge at the Vengeance Night of Champions. He had some really good matches over the years. I think that's the reason why people call him Big Match John. He really puts him. He step up his A game, even though he's getting booed, getting shoved down people's throats. It's just what it is. So Cena injured his pec, and Triple H injured his quad. So at the Royal Rumble, the start of 2008, Cena won the 2008 Royal Rumble match, and Triple H won the Raw Elimination Chamber match at No Way Out the previous month. Cena fought Orton for the championship at that same No Way Out show in February. So this is leading up a triple threat match at WrestleMania 24, because Orton was the champion, Cena won the 2008 Rumble match, and Triple H won the Raw Elimination Chamber match to get a shot at the champion at WrestleMania. So I don't know. I think everyone knows the story. I think they were supposed to do Cena, Triple H for the title at WrestleMania 23 the previous year, but Triple H suffered a quad injury, or I think it was supposed to be a triple threat match. Cena, Triple H, and Shawn. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. So the match was good. It was a fun match to watch. Not on the same level as Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Benoit, that triple threat match for the world title at WrestleMania 20 in 2004. They got a good time, 15 minutes. They're working on. They kind of put Orton in submission holds. Cena got booed out of the building. He came out. His entrance was a marching band. Cena's entrance are really good. Sometimes he's driving a mob car. driving I think it was a Ford car in his main event match against Shawn Michaels. Cena's entrance at WrestleManias are really good, if you like the guy or not. So anyway, so like I said, they put Orton in submission holds. Like I think Cena locked Orton with the STFU. Triple H locked in they kind of work on the leg of Orton a little bit to lock in the Indian Deathlock. Then he kind of locked Cena with the cripple crossface. Um, I don't understand why they did that. I think it's a little bit tasteless because like, I don't know, not tasteless, but it's funny. Like he's doing a submission hold of Chris Benoit. This is a few months after Chris Benoit did the double murder suicide. So I don't want to touch about that. So like I say, it was a fun match to watch. I'm trying to keep this match short and simple, fun to watch. It's not built to be like a 4-star classic. It was just kind of there. I think they made it for most of what it is. 50 minutes long. It was really good. I think one more of the match. Orton performed a crossbody from the top rope onto Cena while letting Triple H shoulders sitting in the position, and Orton also hit the DDT onto Cena and Triple H. I think it was the ropes DDT he hit on both Cena and Triple H. And yeah, Orton hit Triple H with the RKO. I think Orton's Lawler says RKO out of nowhere, and that's soon to be, like not a trademark word, trademark, not catchphrase, but kind of like people say is RKO out of nowhere. I think it's the first time someone used the RKO out of nowhere. So yeah, in the end, try to keep it short and simple, folks. Yeah, I think Cena hit the 5 knuckle shuffle, and Cena pick up both Orton and Triple H, set up the FU, but Triple H dropped down and I think hit Orton with a low blow or something. It's been, yeah, I've seen the match, by the way. I'm trying to remember it via Wikipedia. So in the end, Triple H hit Cena with the pedigree, and Orton punched Triple H in the head after Triple H hit Cena with the pedigree, and then Orton pinned Cena to win this match and retain the WWE Championship. I don't know. I think it was unexpected, not a bad way. I think it's just shocking that we're not the title did not change hands. I think it's the first time that a winner of a Rumble match failed to win a championship at WrestleMania. The first guy to win a Rumble match and went on to win a world title at WrestleMania will be at WrestleMania 12. WrestleMania 28 in 2012. That was Sheamus. Between '08 to 2011, a guy who went on to win the Rumble match failed to win a championship at a WrestleMania. So, anyway, Orton winning it I think Orton was a bit underrated, man, as a champion. I think his run was good, against matches against Shawn and Jeff Hardy and Triple H. I think his second reign was a bit underrated. I think his WWE World Heavyweight Championship reign was completely overrated because of that's another story another time. I'm sorry, I'm speaking like a broken record. It's kind of true for what it is. So it's anyway. So the following month at Backlash, Triple H won the WWE Championship against Orton in a fatal 4-way match against Triple H, Orton, John Cena, I think JBL at Backlash, and then in the yeah, it's funny, in the spring and early summer of 2008, Triple H and Orton fought for the title. Then at One Night Stand of June of 2008, they fought in a Last Man Standing match. Orton suffered I think he injured his collarbone. And then they kind of postponed really resumed the rivalry the following year. It's funny that the following year, Orton and Triple H main event WrestleMania 25 in one of the most crappiest main events. I can't say the worst main events, but gotta be in the top 10 worst WrestleMania main events of all time because it was a very boring match. So and then it's funny '07 to 2009, you have one of the most overrated rivalries in modern WWE. They kind of because they've been feuding for years. Triple H, Orton Cena. I think Cena and Triple H only fought one time. That was at Night of Champions of 2008. But between 2009, '07 to '09, Orton fought against Triple H and John Cena for the WWE Championship. So. My throat's a bit dry. Anyway, so moving on to the next match. This is an entertaining match. So the next match, this is a no DQ match. We got the Big Show taking on Floyd Money Mayweather. It happens at the previous month's pay-per-view No Way Out when the Big Show came back after his 2 years hiatus because he left. He was way overweight, after he dropped in the ECW Championship to Bobby Lashley in that horrifying pay-per-view December to December 2006. He took a break from professional wrestling. He slimmed down. This was after the Edge Rey Mysterio match. They were teasing like Big Show's turning heel, trying to choke slam Rey Mysterio on the front of Floyd Mayweather. Then Mayweather and his entourage climbed to the ring, and Big Show egged Mayweather to punch him, and he did multiple punch towards the Big Show's face. Big Show, I think he broke his nose in the process, and this will set up Mayweather Big Show for WrestleMania 24. I think it did like a weigh-in. And also, going into this match, we thought Big Show's the heel and Mayweather's the babyface. No, Big Show's the babyface and Mayweather's the heel. So this match was entertaining, and that's the reason why this WrestleMania got a really good buy rate. I think it's this match and also Ric Flair really got this really good buy rate for this WrestleMania. Without this Mayweather, Flair, I think this WrestleMania probably not be crappy. I think the buy rate will probably get like into that 800 or 900 mark. Anyway, so the match was good. Not an all-time classic. This was a good celebrity WrestleMania match. Mayweather, he's not a wrestler, he's a boxer, I think he looks good in this match, like the moments of the match, he's being the chicken shit heel, taunting towards the Big Show with the punches, and then you got one of his entourage, give him the goblet, the chalice, for water break, and then Big Show got pissed off. He attacked one of Mayweather's entourage, ripped off one of his t-shirts, giving him the big slap. And then, they were teasing like, I think on the Go Home Raw, they were teasing like Big Show's going to break Mayweather's arm when he's knock out one of his opponents in boxing. I think and also he got to pick up Mayweather, throw Mayweather into his entourage. That was the Go Home Raw. Anyway, so Mayweather hits, he locked in the sleeper hold onto the Big Show, and then Big Show, I think he throwed him off, then he stepped on Mayweather's arm, and then I think it was Mayweather's manager shouted, "You can't do this, you can't do that." And then he's stepping on he was giving Mayweather the big slap on his chest, stepping on his back, stepping on his stomach. I think it was a really good match. I thought it was going to be a bad match or okay match, but it was a entertaining match. Not on a 4-star classic level, but it was a 3-star classic level. I'll give it 3 stars. Anyway, so afterwards, Mayweather left. His entourage taking Mayweather with him. Big Show had none of it. He kind of run down the ramp, knocking every member of Mayweather's entourage, pick up Mayweather. Then you got Mayweather's entourage. I think he hit Big Show with the chair. I think that's the first time. I might be wrong about this. I think it's the first time that Big Show uses the knockout punch. He knocked one of Mayweather's entourage with the punch, and then Mayweather hits the Big Show with the chair. I think he hit him with the low blow. In the end, he took off one of his. It wasn't really his boxing gloves. It was kind of like, it looks like a red MMA glove. He kind of took off his glove, grabbed one of Mayweather's entourage brass knuckles. He grabbed the brass knuckles, waxed the Big Show with it, and Big Show failed to get up in the count of 10. So Mayweather won this match. I think it's for the best, man. I don't think it hurt the Big Show, because at this moment in time, Big Show, you can say he's a big star in the debate. It's a bit debatable. I think the one wrestler never recover after losing to a celebrity. I think it's going to be Bam Bam Bigelow at WrestleMania 11 in 1995. He lost to Lawrence Taylor in the main event. That really done Bam Bam Bigelow in. I think any credibility that Bam Bam Bigelow had after Mania 11 was gone. For Big Show, that's fine, because at this time he's already an established star, so it didn't really hurt him. I think he did good business. I think they got a good WrestleMania payday. I don't know how much the payday they got. I done my research that Mike Tyson, after Mania 14 in 1998, received about $6 million. So I don't know, man. So anyway, so you won't see Floyd Mayweather again. I don't know. Is he a doctor? I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame yet. I want to see him in the Hall of Fame. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. You know, these celebrities in these WWE Hall of Fames. They can end up being hit or miss. I want to talk about. I'm planning to do like a video on the WWE Hall of Fame between 1993 to the present day. It'll be in the coming weeks or probably next week. You know, you have to wait and find out. So moving on to the main event. This is world title versus the Streak. Edge, the Rated R superstar, the ultimate opportunist, defending the World Heavyweight Championship against The Undertaker. Undertaker won this SmackDown Elimination Chamber match at No Way Out the previous month. So this has started in May the previous year when Undertaker retained his World Heavyweight Championship against Batista. I think it was inside of a steel cage match when Undertaker was bleeding from the face. And then he got attacked by Mark Henry. It set up Taker Henry at Unforgiven of September of that year. So Edge came out, cashing his Money in the Bank briefcase. And originally he won it from Mr. Kennedy because Mr. Kennedy injured his triceps. So anyway, so Edge cashed in the briefcase, speared the Undertaker, won the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time. Even though he's been a world champion before, you know, he was I think it was a 2-time WWE champion. So both Taker and Taker suffered a bicep injury. You won't see Taker again until the autumn of 2007. Edge had that feud with Batista. Then Edge suffered a pec injury, so he also was out until the autumn. Then Edge came back at Survivor Series in November, you know, when Undertaker fought against Batista inside Hell in a Cell for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Edge cost the Undertaker the World Heavyweight Championship. Then the following month at Armageddon in December, Edge won the World Heavyweight title in a triple threat match against him, Taker, and Batista. So Edge was in the middle of his second reign as the world champion. He beat Rey Mysterio in the start of 2008. So, and he kind of hyped up he kind of like, you know, in I think like in build up to this, there was a good video package of. There was a domestic music. I can't remember the tune of the It was so domestic, you know, and dramatic. This is personally my favorite. Like this video package leading up to this match between Edge and Undertaker. You know, Edge doing he's mimicking the Undertaker with the throat slashing gesture. I think he hit Funaki with the Tombstone Power Driver. He's hyping out like. Undertaker's not the only one, was undefeated at WrestleMania. That's a load of crap because Taker won every matches before Brock in 2014. You know, he's 15-0. Edge, I think he lost. He didn't win that Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 23, so he was undefeated. So he undefeated in previous matches against he won the Triangle ladder match at WrestleMania 16, TLC 2. Booker T at WrestleMania 18 for Japanese Shampoo. Then he missed 19 and 20 due to a neck injury. Won the first Money in the Bank ladder match. Beat Mick Foley in that hardcore match at Mania 22. So he had a good record, a track record leading up to this. Yeah, the La Familia members beating down the Undertaker. Edge like grabbed the chair, hit Taker with a Carcento, said 15 and 1 dead man, and he shouted, "It's over this year. It's over." He said like 15 and 1. It dies, and Taker says, "I don't talk about taking souls, I just do it." So, anyway, the match was, I say this is match of the night, man. Taker came out wearing the Lord of Darkness attire, not attire, but the jacket. You know, it's first time in decades since 1998. For the only WrestleMania until I think it was I think he wore the Druid hoodie at before his match against Shawn Michaels at Mania 26, and again against CM Punk at Mania 29. Yeah, this is he's in this entrance. He's not wearing his trench coat and the cowboy hat. So anyway, the start of this match, you know, Taker gave Edge the throat slicking gesture towards Edge. Anyway, the match was really good. You know, Edge counted Undertaker's repertoire, his movesets, you know, like one of them, I think like twice in the match, Taker trying to hit Edge with the old school, Edge counted it. He kind of worked on the back of the Undertaker, like one more in the match, he kind of throw Taker onto the barricade, and Taker kind of fell into the crowd. Then he locked Taker with the I think it was a one half-legged Boston Crab. To, you know, this is I think it's like soon planting the seeds for Edge using the a modified version of the sharpshooter. Anyway, so like it was really good. I think so some moments of the match, Taker like selling the back injury, selling the low. He was one more of the match trying to hit Edge with the last ride, selling the back injury. I think one more of the match he was going to hit Edge with the last ride, but Edge counted into the net breaker. This match was really good. I think it's believing that Edge could be the one to end the streak. Like there was a referee bumps. In this match. I think Edge hit. I think Edge hit. Did Edge hit? I think Edge hit him with a Tombstone Power Driver. I can't remember. Teasing like the members of the Edgeheads got involved, like Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Yeah, it was. I check. His real name Kurt Hawkins. His real name is Brian Myers. It's Brian Myers. I was right. I was bang right. So anyway, they got involved. The Edgeheads. So I think he hit. I think Edge hit him with a spear, but Taker kicked out of the spear, and I think Taker hit Edge with the Tombstone Power Driver. Edge kicked out. This is really good. I think it's very hard to rate this streak match. I think I give it. This is more like a mid-table type of Undertaker streak match. Very underrated match. People don't talk about this match, Edge and Undertaker. And also this is Edge's. I think this is his first WrestleMania main event until WrestleMania 37 in 2021 in a triple threat match between him, Roman Reigns, and Daniel Bryan. So this is getting good and good. I think did he hit the Tombstone Power Driver? I think, yeah. Taker, I don't think he hit the Tombstone Power Driver. It's very like when Triple H hit the Tombstone Power Driver on the Undertaker at WrestleMania in 2011. That was iconic. It'd be cool if Edge managed to hit the move onto the Undertaker. That'd be cool to see it. I wish I think Edge should have done that. If I was Edge, I wish he'd done that. Did the hit Taker with the Tombstone Power Driver? Did place the Undertaker's arms with the on his place Taker's own arms onto his own chest and did the with the tongue? That would be epic. Then when Triple H did that, when Triple H hit that, at WrestleMania in 2011, that was cool. Anyway, so that was a good near format, but anyway, in the end, Taker managed to apply the Hell's Gate onto Edge. Edge tapped out. Taker wins the World Heavyweight Championship and extend his streak to 16-0. Edge was he was bleeding from the mouth. I mean, because at the time the Hell's Gate was like before that. The only time the only match. I think there's two matches when Taker locking the Hell's Gate was against Big Show at No Way Out 2003. I think he did that submission hold on to JBL in 2004. Then he did that submission hold on to Kurt Angle at No Way Out 2006 for the World Heavyweight title. I think at this moment in time, the Hell's Gate is actually the Undertaker's official submission hold. And seeing Edge, bleeding is really selling that and believe that. Yeah, you can tell that the Hell's Gate is got to be one of the most at the time one of the most brutal submission holds of professional wrestling history, because everyone knows the Undertaker is a massive MMA fan. So Undertaker won the world title for the second time. This is not the Taker won the battle, but the war is still begun between him and Edge. So at the next month's pay-per-view at Backlash, that Undertaker won this match, again against Edge. I think he made Edge once again tap out with the Hell's Gate. I think it was the Hell's Gate. Then it's leading up to Vicky Guerrero banning and stripping the World Heavyweight title. He stripped the World Heavyweight title off the Undertaker, and also banning the Hell's Gate because the Hell's Gate was brutal. I think it was selling that the Hell's Gate is one of the most brutal submission holds of all time. I think the brutal submission hold right now is the Kimura Lock by Brock Lesnar. Then they fought at Judgment Day. If that was, I think it was a no DQ. Then they fought in a TLC match for the World Heavyweight title at One Night Stand, the final One Night Stand in WWE history. Edge won the world title. Undertaker was banished, and then they had the blow off at SummerSlam that summer in the Hell in a Cell match to have that rubber match, and then they never fought ever again because the Taker at this moment in time has retired. So yeah, it's a good way to have Undertaker, main event a WrestleMania for the first time for almost a decade. Last time Undertaker main event a WrestleMania was WrestleMania 13 against Sid when he won the WWF title from Psycho Sid. So, in my opinion, I wish Rick Flair and Shawn main event that WrestleMania because they had a good story. Because I feel like when Flair did the farewell, it felt like it closed out a show instead of like setting up for the next match of the show. That's just me. I wish they had Flair and Shawn Michaels main event WrestleMania 24 instead of Edge and Taker. Like I said, that's just me. I think it was a good way to it's a way to have Undertaker get get the fans go home happy. I see Taker win the world title, even though his title reign was a bit shorter. I think the last time Undertaker had a good run with the big gold belt was in 2009. That's another story for another time. So my final rating for WrestleMania 24, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think this is a underrated WrestleMania. People don't talk about it. I think not all, but some people don't really talk about it. I think it was a forgettable one, but I think in my opinion, it is an underrated WrestleMania. I put this has got to be in the top 5 best WrestleManias of all time. Like, I watched someone else's review on the show. Someone say like this is the last great WrestleMania. Hard to say. I don't really call it the last great WrestleMania, but it's a strong show. The only thing in the bad, to be honest, to be fair, I'm not gonna put the Edge Chavo Guerrero match in the bad for me. To be honest, it was a squash match. Good to see Kane winning the title, but the only thing in the bad for me was the Playboy Lumberjills match between Beth Phoenix, Melina versus Ashley and Maria. It's just a piss break match. But besides that, the only thing in the okay was Batista Umaga, but it was a really strong show. Like I think every like not every, but some of these matches were a slam hit. Like the opener was fun to watch. Money in the Bank 4 was good. Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair was awesome to watch. The triple threat match for the WWE Championship was fun to watch. Same as the Big Show Mayweather match, and also the main event was that was I think Taker Edge was match of the night, but it was awesome, man. Yeah, I give it 9 out of 10. A fun WrestleMania. I give this show 2 stars. So anyway, so hope you enjoy my review of WrestleMania 24. What's your thoughts on WrestleMania 24? Leave a comment section below, smash the like button, click the like, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. Next time, let's do another anniversary of a WrestleMania. Let's travel to the year of 2003, the 20th anniversary of WrestleMania 19. That's the next classic WrestleMania to review. Rock Austin 3 in Austin's last match as a full-time wrestler. Air quotes. I'll get to that next time. You could say a slightly mediocre match between Triple H, Booker T, Hogan, Fitz, and also that main event with a botched shooting star press between Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship. So, yeah, WrestleMania 19, folks. That's the next classic WrestleMania to review on this channel. Until then, this is Essential Man.